Hey everybody, welcome back. We're reading the Qur'an, and we are in the section that's titled Muhammad the Prophet. Okay, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay. Those who reject Allah and hinder men from the path of Allah, their deeds will Allah render astray from their mark. But those who believe and work deeds of righteousness and believe in the revelation sent down to Muhammad, for it is the truth from their Lord, He will remove from them their ills and improve their condition. This is because those who reject Allah follow vanities, while those who believe follow the truth from their Lord. Thus does Allah set forth for men their lessons by similitudes. Therefore, when ye meet the unbelievers in fight, smite at their necks. At length, when ye have thoroughly subdued them, bind and bond firmly on them. Thereafter is the time for either generosity or ransom, until the war lays down its burdens. Thus are ye commanded. But if it had been Allah's will, He certainly could have exacted retribution from them Himself, but He sets you to fight, in order to test you, some with others. But those who are slain in the way of Allah, He will never let their deeds be lost. Soon He will guide them and improve their condition, and admit them to the garden which He has announced for them. O ye who believe, if ye will aid the cause of Allah, He will aid you, and plant your feet firmly. But those who reject Allah, for them is destruction, and Allah will render their deeds astray from their mark. That is because they hate the revelation of Allah, so He has made their deeds fruitless. Do they not travel through the earth and see what was the end of those before them who did evil? Allah brought utter destruction on them, and similar fates await those who reject Allah. That is because Allah is the protector of those who believe, but those who reject Allah have no protector. Okay, let's get into it. And you know my favorite theme, that was number 10. It's one of my favorite ones. Verily, Allah will admit those who believe and do righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow, while those who reject Allah will enjoy this world and eat as cattle eat. Wow, though. And their fire will be their abode. You know what's interesting? Okay, this may sound kind of weird, but I think it's a very cool example. So, sometimes we can think of fire when we hear that. We don't really get afraid of fire, right? None of us, maybe some of us are firefighters, but a lot of us don't approach flames a lot. So we don't really get the heat intensity. But the other day, I made a beautiful molasses bread loaf. Okay, I worked very hard on it. It was a new recipe, and I had my oven mitt on, but I had my pinky exposed. So when I went to grab the side of the pan, it burned my pinky, and it hurt so bad. And I dropped the whole loaf on the ground, and it went all over the floor. And I had to scoop it up and then go give it to the crows, right, so they could eat it. But it burned so bad, and I put some Neosporin on it, and I went to fix it, and I'm like, it's so painful. Just that little pinky, it hurts. Anyone who's cooked a lot knows this, right? You get burns on your arms, it hurts. And then you get that terrible blister bubble on there. Oh, it's painful. And then when you wash your hands, the warm water heats it back up again on that weak skin till fix itself. And think about how that's a minor inconvenience, right? A simple burn from the oven, from a hot pan. Now imagine something like the fire, because we might think, oh, well, we'll just burn in 2 seconds and then the pain will be gone. But that's like, where is that written? The extent of the pain time period isn't going to say like, okay, you get 10 seconds and you just have to endure for 10 seconds. Because we see historical burnings, right? We can see the person screams and screams and screams, and eventually they're gone, and they're burnt, and they no longer feel what's happening because their bodies, it's burnt and the soul is out. But if you think about this concept of a hellfire, uh, it's gonna. How long will you feel that sensation of burning? Think about it. I was been thinking about that a lot. And how many cities with more power than thy city, which has driven thee out, we have destroyed for their sins, and there was one to aid them. Is then one who is on a clear path from his Lord no better than one to whom the evil of his conduct seems pleasing, and such as follow their own lusts? Here is a parable of the garden which the righteous are promised. In it are rivers of water incorruptible. Ooh, you think about that. That water can't get putrefied, right? There used to be a time when the rivers were so clean in the United States where you could drink out of it. Native Americans did that. Now, if you did that, you'd probably die. You can't do it. Pollution is just everywhere, and the particles get suspended, and during the rain, the runoff and all types of pesticides and the oil on the streets goes right into the water. It's just disgusting. It's really sad. So we often overlook the simple pleasure of having clean water. But, you know, look how many people have parasites in their bellies because they don't have access to clean water. It's very sad. But the Coca-Cola makes sure they get clean water. And plenty of beer companies have water rights. So it's indeed very sad. Rivers of milk which the taste never changes. Ah, that's delicious. I don't know about you, but I love raw organic grass-fed milk. It's so pure and it's very easy to digest, and it does have a different taste to it when it comes from a severely healthy animal. It's so pure. It's very different than the excessively pasteurized, homogenized milk, but there has to be, some guidelines because some animals are sick. Rivers of wine, a joy to those who drink, and rivers of honey, pure and clear. Honey is also good, that raw, unfiltered clover honey, orange blossom honey, buckwheat honey. There's so many different kinds. In it there are for them all kinds of fruits, and grace from their Lord. Can those in such bliss be compared to such as shall dwell forever in the fire, and be given to drink boiling water so that it cuts up their bowels to pieces? You see, like, even when I've drank like a swig of hot soup or hot tea, sometimes you get impatient with your tea and then you just take a big gulp and it like scorches the tip of your tongue, the roof of your mouth, and like right here, and then you feel it so hot in your chest and you're like, oh man, that hurt. Imagine. But imagine this is what they're saying is it's so hot that it makes it like oh, terrible. And among them are men who listen to thee, but in the end, when they go out from thee, they say to those who have received knowledge, what is it he just said then? Such are men, though whose hearts Allah has sealed, and who follow their own lusts. But to those who receive guidance, he increases the light of guidance, and bestows on them their piety and restraint from evil. Do they then only wait for the hour, that it should come on them of a sudden? But already have come some tokens thereof, and when it actually is on them, how can they benefit then by their admonition? Know therefore that there is no God but Allah, and ask forgiveness for thy fault, and for the men and women who believe, for Allah knows how ye move about, and how ye dwell in your homes. Yes! That, you see? Remember how it said like he knows what you reveal and what you conceal? But this is like another way to say that. It's like what you're doing outside in the street, like if your conduct is super good in the street, or if it's super bad, he's gonna know, right? And if you're in your homes, the door may be shut, but it isn't shut. You know what I mean? A lot of people change once that door shuts, man. There's a lot of philosophical concepts about doors. Just gotta be careful what one you open and when you should shut one, right? It's very interesting. Those who believe say, why is not a surah sent down for us, But when a surah of basic or categorical meaning is revealed, and fighting is mentioned therein, thou wilt see those in whose hearts is a disease looking at thee with a look of one in swoon at the approach of death. Interesting. But more fitting for them, were it to obey and say what is just, and what a matter is resolved on, it were best for them if they were true to Allah. Then it is to be expected of you, if ye were put in authority, that ye will do mischief in the land, and break your ties of kith and kin. Such are the men whom Allah has cursed, for He has made them deaf and blind, and blinded their sight. Okay, look. So these leaders who get authority, people who get authority, doing mischief in the land, breaking ties, breaking their oaths, killing their own kin through genocide. Interesting. Saying like, all right, you're doing that, but it's not going to be pretty in the end. Do they not then earnestly seek to understand the Qur'an, or are their hearts locked up by them? Those who turn back as apostates after guidance was clearly shown to them. The evil one has instigated them and buoyed them up with false hopes. This because they said to those who hate what Allah has revealed, we will obey you in part of this matter, but Allah knows their inner secrets. But how will it be when the angel takes their souls at death, and the smite their faces and their backs? This because they followed that which called forth the wrath of Allah, and they hated Allah's good pleasure, so He made their deeds of no effect. Or do those in whose hearts is a disease think that Allah will not bring to light all their rancor? Had we so willed, we could have shown them up to thee, and thou shouldst have known them by their mark. But surely thou wilt know them by the tone of their speech, and Allah knows all that ye do. Ooh, it's hard though, the tone. I know masters who can alter their tone. Some of the best liars you ever met. Tone is such a subtle art to see. Tone. Passive-aggressive people are some very interesting people to not get along with. Those who are very smooth with their tone, slick with their words. Interesting. Some people they reveal with their tone, and others they know how to fluctuate it to where you can't really perceive the deeds. It's really interesting. And Allah knows all that ye do. And we shall try you until we test those among you who strive their utmost in perseverance and patience. And we shall try your reported metal. Ah! We shall try your reported metal. Oh! You say you got the armor, you got the thick skin? It's gonna be put to the test. Oh my gosh. Those who reject Allah hinder men from the path of Allah, and resist the apostle after guidance has been clearly shown to them, will not injure Allah in the least, but He will make their deeds of no effect. O ye who believe, obey Allah and obey the apostle, and make not vain your deeds. Make not vain your deeds. Those who reject Allah and hinder men from the path of Allah, then die rejecting Allah, Allah will not forgive them. Interesting. Be not weary and faint-hearted, crying for peace when ye should be uppermost. For Allah is with you and will never put you in loss for your good deeds. The life of this world is but play and amusement, and if ye believe and guard against evil, He will grant you your recompense, and will not ask you to give up your possessions. Interesting. If He were to ask you for all of them and press you, ye would covetously withhold, and He would bring out all your ill-feeling. Behold, ye are those invited to spend of your substance in the way of Allah, but among you are some that are niggardly. Oh, I think a better word is like miserly. You can't say that word anymore, but I understand. It used to mean like a penny pincher. somebody who is, tight. Like a crab with like grasping to something. You just don't want to let it go. Crabby. But any who are penny pinchers, I'll just say penny pinchers, are so at the expense of their own souls. But Allah is free of all wants. And it is that ye are needy. If ye turn back from the path, He will substitute in your stead another people. Then they would not be like you. He will substitute you. You're about to get substituted. You see, that's a good choice of words, though. If you can get substituted, you're not that essential, right? You're important, maybe, but you are not if you go, it's not the end of the world. You see what I'm saying? You'll get substituted. Think about it. Ego shattering. Okay, that's the end of Muhammad's chapter, Surah 47. Very interesting, family. I hope you liked it.